Nothing yet. We're waiting.
I think I can hear you guys. You can hear me, so.
So if I'm saying, you're out the door?
Yep. We're hot.
Speaking of hot.
This is a class 2.
Get down with your bad self.
All right, gents, we might be doing a little bit of audio here, so we'll do audio while we're waiting for the video. So, hi all, and welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 9. I'm your host, Bill Dean, and I'm here, of course, with my 2 co-hosts, Steve Echeverria and Mike Sandillo, aka Little Steve and Schwim. So while we have a little bit of a visual, issue here. We do have, and when the picture comes up, you'll see it, we do have an extra video on the screen, and it is our special guest host. So we now welcome to the pod a man who needs no introduction to the Primetime Radio Network, a man of many words but very little saves, a goalie who will throw his defenseman under the bus when he can't stop a slow-moving puck from entering his own net, the try-and-save goaltender of the Bonestorm Hockey Club, and co-host of your favorite sister podcast, Let's Go Devils, the one, the only, Shorts Guy. Welcome, bud, and thanks for being our very first guest. Pleasure to have you on with us.
It's a pleasure to be on and to get the record straight. As my defenseman, you should have put that puck around the net instead of onto the net and surprised the hell out of me.
And subsequently into the net.
Yeah.
If a goalie would just actually stay on his side of the post and not just wander around, I mean, you wouldn't have these issues, right?
You wore your glasses. You started wearing your glasses finally after that game.
Yeah.
And we had asked you.
No, I know.
So many times. Bill Dean, you wear glasses except for you're on the rink. Put your glasses on. Put your glasses on. Oh, look, Bill Dean put it in our own net. Oh, now you're wearing your glasses.
Yeah, no.
Good.
No,
and by the way,
right that day.
No. Well, and I have many and I have many saves, and you 3 have seen me make plenty of saves because it tends to be Short Guy versus all 8 players on the rink, and if the other goalie could come down and put it on net, I'm sure he would too. It would be 9 against me.
We average 90 shots against on net every game.
I'm a little embarrassed about how painfully accurate all of this is.
Yeah,
we're not joking on any of this. Is all true.
But see, the good thing is we come in, we have fun, we drink beers, we shoot the shit, and then obviously whatever happens in the rink happens, and we don't really care all that much. But
when you shoot hockey, it's typically on Short Guy.
Yeah, it's true. Although I did, we'll eventually bring up the Marty Lynn bet that we had going, because obviously him, losing that bet by passing the puck to me to score my 20th goal of the season, that's on him. But that's for another pod. But guys, so obviously, here, actually, go ahead, Shorts.
I was going to say, what does it speak of our offense if one of our defensemen? Hey, there we are.
There we go.
Oh, cheers!
Thank you,
all
Sam.
the beautiful faces.
Oh yeah.
No, Sam,
if one of our
obviously behind the scenes is great to us, and we really appreciate the hard work, Sam. We know it can be a little bit taxing, but all right, here we'll go back into some banter later, but let's do some beer reviews and what we got drinking. So, Shorts Guy, you lead us off. What are you drinking, and give us a little bit about it.
All right, so I got this. I've had this for a little while, kind of in storage. It's the Cortland Industrial IPA from the Cortland Beer Company. It's the town my brother lives in, upstate New York, and he asked if I wanted beer. I said, yeah, just go get something from Cortland. So it's pretty good. Second one I've had, I got a red ale as well, but I'm going to stick with the Industrial IPA tonight.
Very nice. Schwim, Steve?
My turn?
You can go.
I'll go. All right, so I'm drinking something from Anchorage Brewing Company, which is from Anchorage, Alaska. Scott Gomez's own. There you go, Short Sky. It is
There you go.
And Brandon Dubinsky.
Let's not talk about it.
No one cares about it.
It's a double IPA, a New England IPA. Pretty good. They say it's made with copious amounts of Sabro and Citra hops, so you know it's good.
I heard they recently decided to add more
hops recently.
hops to it.
Really cool can artwork on Anchorage. Check them out. They have a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool artwork. Check it out.
I wish I was still asleep, by the way.
Esteban?
Yeah, so I got so Schwim was kind enough to get me this beer. This is from Abnormal Beer Company, based out of San Diego, California. First of all, the can is like, I guess, really cool. Screams summertime. It's a cherry limeade imperial Berliner Weiss, which sounds like super fruity, which it kind of is. It's tart, but it's very refreshing. I feel like every beer that I have, I say, is like great on a summer day, which is appropriate because it's like 105 degrees in here right now. But yeah, really cool can. This is my first beer from this brewery, so I'll fill you in on the details after.
The can looks like a Natter Day.
Yeah.
Like a Natter Day?
That's what we're going for.
Yep, that's always what we're going for. And I got out of Williamsport, PA, Foreign Objects, which is a really good brewery. This one's a Blueberry Cobbler Imperial Stout. It is real thick, as I told the guys before. It's pretty delicious. Yep.
In your window.
A lot of really good beer. And you can't see it, but on here it does say District Tap House in New York City, which is my favorite bar in the city. It's really good. It's got a ton of local brews, and then it's just got various amounts of beers on tap and cans. It's really good. So I recommend, if you're in the city, District Tap House, and it's cohort District Social, which is more of an upscale dining with some good beers too. So Sam wants to talk, so let's get him in here.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little
Sam.
tech for about 2 seconds. Sorry about the screw up, but I'd just like to note that the guy that's saving us from the coronavirus, Bill Gates, Windows sucks. It's terrible.
Another
program we used. It's not an update. I'll tell you, I'm actually locked out of the system. In order for me to get you guys on, I'm in the back end of Windows, where it's basically like Unix or Shell, and I'm kind of controlling you guys by typing in commands right now. So I don't know how the next guest is going to be till this piece of crap gets up and running. But that was
Are we going to turn into 8-bit characters?
That reminded me of the Let's Go Devils podcast, episode 1, how we started actually. If you remember that.
Oh yeah.
That day.
So Sam, obviously, we touch base. We will have another guest, one of our buddies, to talk about the Buffalo Sabres. Would you like to introduce him now, or try to call him now, or do you want to wait?
Actually, I will try to call him now. I think I can get this thing
All
running.
right.
But
okay, so while we're doing that, no problem. Hey, we'll work with what we got. We appreciate all the help.
Yeah.
And everybody, this is a little behind the scenes of what goes on. There's guys in the background doing all the hard work so that you can see our pretty faces, and we do appreciate Sam and all he does, and obviously he does it for the Let's Go Devils podcast as well.
Short Sky, are you taking notes how the other podcast should treat me?
Are you
I'm
saying
sure
that
very soon we'll turn a little bit.
Are you saying that the flagship podcast doesn't treat you well?
No problem.
It sounded like Sam was hanging out in the back with the Unix, no?
I think Sam wants to come to our podcast. We're going to do a trade.
Sam's going to be a regular. No, but so I will do the intro for JJ in a little bit once we get him on. But, we also want to talk about some NHL news going on. Obviously there's a bunch of COVID issues happening. Some training camp dates were announced. Obviously they talked about roster sizes, so we'll get into that. And Short Sky, we also want your opinion on, not being an outsider, but just how you think the NHL should be doing this and what you want to see. because obviously we all like watching hockey. It doesn't matter if your team's in it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it helps, but we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's fine because I all I can do for the next 9 months is talk about my team. I don't get to watch them.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, as a friend, I feel bad for you, but Devils still suck. So,
Rangers suck.
the last thing we'll talk about is the Dan Carcillo lawsuit, because obviously that's big news in the NHL and with the CHL and what's happening there, because it's something that shouldn't be happening, and we'll touch base with that as well. But we wanted to bring on a guest to talk about the Sabres, because obviously they were big in the news as well, firing another GM, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's definitely a tough thing what they're going through. And then at the end, we'll see what we can get through, and maybe we'll have Shorts guy on a little, after other episodes as well. But we want to talk about some trades, maybe the best and worst that each team has had, each one of our respective teams, and then what if trades that had never happened, which I thought would be pretty cool. So,
by the way, Bill Dean,
Go ahead.
our friend Chris Havelock in the Facebook group just told me that I should fight you over the saying that the Devils suck. So we may have to have some fisticuffs, and or I'll just get some payback at some point when you're trying to play defense in front of me. I'll just kind of accidentally give you a shot.
Yeah, no, I love JJ. I love Havs, so we'll chat about that later. All right, so we actually have on the hotline, we have JJ, our buddy, and I'll give a little intro because I figured we'd get some good stuff up on here. But let's get to our next segment. Of the evening. We now welcome to the podcast our second guest of the show, JJ from Bonestorm Hockey. This little ball of fire breezes by the competition in our men's hockey league like pucks through Shorts guy's 5-hole, glove side, blocker side, basically wherever Shorts guy isn't. He's our leading scorer and a model for all those young hockey players out there looking to score at will and get into trash-talking beef in the same shift. JJ, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
What an intro, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. So obviously we got JJ. He's one of our forwards for Bonestorm Hockey. He's a really good player, really good fan, and of course his team is the Buffalo Sabres. So JJ, we wanted to have you on the podcast to discuss the overall state of the Sabres. Why don't you actually give a little introduction and give us your fanhood?
Yeah. Been playing hockey with you guys for what now? Probably a year. And,
about that.
A little over?
Just about that, yeah.
A little over a year. I mean, not playing anymore, kind of missing it. But, kind of just hanging out, working and trying to get through all this right now. And unfortunately, not going to be any watching postseason hockey for the Sabres as usual. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So.
No, I know that's a tough thing, but obviously the Sabres were in the news recently, and that's why I wanted to have you on with obviously the firing of Botterill, another GM. So, Steve, I think you were saying that's 3 GMs they're paying this offseason?
They currently have 3 GMs on their payroll right now, including the newly promoted GM. That apparently the Pagulas didn't put any thought into searching for a GM. They just kind of, I guess it seemed like they were walking out the door one day, and the last person they saw on the way out, they're just like, "Hey, you want to be our new GM?" And he's JJ's new GM. JJ, what do you think about that?
Well, at the end of the day, I can't hate on the guy. I mean, it's a great job and opening for him, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck. We definitely need it as an organization. But I think of the process, first thing that comes to mind was rushed. There was no search done for a general manager, and I think it was kind of sloppy in the way it was handled. At the end of the day, we also, I'm sure we'll get into it as well, but he has a lot to do this offseason, a long offseason. As we know, there were 22 firings in our front office, and 13 of those were scouts. And this is right before the draft, which is kind of difficult. So first thing that pops in my mind is this guy has a lot on his plate, and he's going to have to start working fast.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out, not only to rebuild the organization as far as getting the right players in place, but also behind the scenes, getting the staff in place has got to be just as hard, I assume.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said, the draft is coming up. We don't know a set date on it, but most people think it's going to be early fall, and no team is going to give up any of their scouts. So we're going to have to hire people probably who aren't as experienced or great at their job as well, leading up to the draft, and it's going to be pretty difficult for him to do this. Again, it was just thrown at him, and the Pagulas handled it in a unprofessional way, in my opinion. Again, two words that come to mind were sloppy and rushed. This was the do-it guy for them who, basically ran and got their coffee and did their copies for them.
Yeah.
And, he worked his way up in the organization. And now he has all this on his plate, and they're like, all right, well, good luck. At the end of the day, he also did not he had to fire everybody. The Pagulas in the press conference had, were beating around the bush with every question that were thrown at them. And afterwards, he had to end up firing everyone in the front office, scouts, and it was just, again, unprofessional. I feel bad for the guy. I do. There's a lot of emotion right now in the city of Buffalo and Rochester. So it's hard.
Yeah, I was going to say that, I'm pretty, I would guess, this is just me, thinking off the top that, one of the big issues was because of the draft coming up, they didn't want to have someone from the outside that might not have had the, the time to properly scout. And, they're going to use someone in the office and they didn't really want to, venture outside, which, sucks. Obviously, maybe the best thing would have been to either, let Botterill do the draft or let him go earlier, which, seems to be the issue with my Jets as well, but we'll talk about that. That's way down the road. I do feel the pain. It sucks that you go into an off season thinking that things could be going well. They gave Botterill the thumbs up, and then all of a sudden they can him, and you're right in front of the draft, and you got your, for lack of a better term, you got, you're left with your palm, your hand up, and you don't know what the hell's going on. So it's tough.
Well, and that's what makes me the most angry about this situation is, at the end of the day, if the team is losing and they're continuously losing, which has happened over the past 9 or 10 years with no playoff appearances, okay, I can withstand that. The manner and the way this was dealt was it should not have happened in this way. Kim gave Jason Botterill her vote of confidence in saying that he would be back, which, as we all know, angered a lot of the Buffalo Sabres community and Rochester's Americans community because we wanted to see him gone. Hadn't been in the playoffs, but to give someone your vote of confidence and then fire them 3 weeks later is just unacceptable. Now I feel as if, on top of being the laughingstock of the NHL, no one's going to want to come to this organization for a front office job or to even play for the team. It just looks bad on the owner's part. And it looks bad because essentially his wife is running this organization right into the ground while he builds a contender with the Bills.
Right.
Yeah. No, obviously, when you're working on two different sports, two different teams, it's hard enough to focus on one. So I'm sure that's also not an easy point. But Shorts guy, I know you've obviously had some hardships just like myself the last couple of years with your team. What do you got for JJ, a young fan, just in the midst of calamity?
I don't understand. By the way, JJ, what's up, man? Shorts guy. I don't. I just don't understand the timing of the move. Like, it's not like anything's gone on. The season has effectively been over for the Sabres and for the Devils since, what was that, March 14th, 15th, whenever they put the pause in place, 10th, I can't remember at this point. So it's weird. He got the vote of confidence, and then a month later they fire him, days before the draft lottery, which is happening this Friday. it makes no sense. And I know the draft is not going to be for a while, but it makes no sense. I mean, the Devils are going through some similar things too. Like, we don't know exactly who the GM is going to be. If Fitz is going to continue with the interim position or go to the to the full time. We know that they've been interviewing other people, but at least we're getting that. Like, for the Sabres to just kind of up and do this and have no rhyme, reason, or even a vetting process for a potential new candidate, which there are candidates out there. There are other candidates there. But, JJ, I think you're right. Like, who's going to want to go to this organization if they just like to just on a whim because you look at them the wrong way on the way out the door, they fire you?